Hello, I'm David Harper with the BBC News. Rebel forces in Tigray in northern Ethiopia have retaken the regional capital Mekelle nearly 8 months after they were ousted by Ethiopian government troops. Residents say thousands of people have taken to the streets waving flags and setting off fireworks. The conflict has pushed Tigray into a deep humanitarian crisis. Our Africa editor is Mary Harper.
The city's been held by federal troops and their allies for the past 8 months. A civil war rages across the region. The interim administration, appointed by Addis Ababa to run Tigray, is reported to have fled, along with members of the security forces. The situation is fluid and confusing, but it looks like the tables are turning, at least for now. Tigrayan forces initially retreated to their mountain hideouts, but they've struck back against a mighty enemy, Ethiopian federal troops, Eritrean forces and other armed groups.
2 major legal rulings in favour of Facebook have seen its stock market value surpass $1 trillion for the first time. The judge ruled against cases brought by the Federal Trade Commission and one brought by more than 40 states. Peter Bowes has more detail.
The judge said the FTC's lawsuit was legally insufficient and had to be dismissed because it had failed to plead enough facts to back up its claim that Facebook was stifling competition. And on the state's claim for the Facebook and the other apps to be broken up, the judge said the lawsuit was based on a premise of public high-profile conduct nearly 6 years ago. He said before the launch of the Apple Watch or Alexa or Periscope, or even when Ebola was the virus dominating headlines. In other words, he said, they left it too late.
The Mexican Supreme Court has decriminalized the private recreational use of cannabis by adults, ruling prohibition was unconstitutional. Smoking cannabis in public and in front of children is banned. The decision comes after the Mexican Congress failed to meet a deadline to legalize the drug. The court president called the outcome a historic day for personal liberty. An unprecedented heat wave is continuing over the northwest of the United States and parts of Canada, with temperatures breaking new records and much of daily life coming to a halt. Mark Lobel reports.
Cooling down has almost become an act of survival. British Columbia's power providers report a surge in demand for electricity to keep air conditioners running. Causing all this is a massive ridge of high pressure in the sky, a contained pool of air hanging over the area like a lid on a pot. Scientists studying these extreme heat waves say they're made more likely and more intense by human-induced climate change. It's forecast this prolonged, dangerous and historic heat wave will persist through this week.
World News from the BBC. The Australian state of Queensland has reintroduced coronavirus restrictions in a number of regions after 2 new community-transmitted cases were detected. People in areas of southeast Queensland, including Brisbane, must now wear masks when outside their homes, and there are restrictions on the size of gatherings. Perth in Western Australia has also started a lockdown. Anti-government protesters in Colombia have toppled the statue of Christopher Columbus in the coastal city of Barranquilla. The figure of the European explorer, after whom Colombia is named, was dragged from its plinth and vandalised. The demonstration marked 2 months since the start of a nationwide protest movement calling for social reform. Indigenous activists see Columbus as a symbol of colonialism and oppression. Switzerland have knocked the world champions France out of the Euro 2020 football tournament on penalties. The shootout ended 5-4 after Kylian Mbappe failed to score for France. The Swiss had been seconds away from elimination in normal time before they equalised to make it 3-3. Leaving the stadium in Bucharest, this Swiss supporter praised his team.
At the 3-1 we were never there, and I really was down and I thought, oh, please not 4-5 for the French. And then they turned it, and that was great. That was the greatest match that the Swiss national team delivered at a big tournament. The best match ever.
Switzerland will now face Spain in the quarterfinals on Friday after the Spanish beat Croatia 5-3. Greek police say they've recovered 2 paintings stolen nearly a decade ago. Pablo Picasso's 1939 Woman's Head and Piet Mondrian's Mill were stripped from their frames at Greece's National Gallery in a well-organised heist in January 2012. They were found hidden at a gorge at the outskirts of Athens. A Greek man has been arrested. BBC News.